Hello and welcome to another episode of Productivity Game Insights. I recently read the book SuperBetter by author Jane McGonigal. Jane has a pretty fascinating degree. She has a PhD in performance psychology, specializing in the psychology of video gamers. Jane used her extensive knowledge of games and a gameful mindset to overcome a concussion that she suffered in 2009. After hitting her head, she was bedridden, and she couldn't do any of the things that she enjoyed doing. She couldn't run, she couldn't read, and she couldn't work. Her concussion was really getting to her. She was even having suicidal thoughts. She said to herself, I'm either going to kill myself or I'm going to turn this into a game. Why a game? Because when you play a game, you adopt a mindset where you turn threat into an opportunity for personal growth. In a game, you don't simply accept your current reality. You're always looking for strategies to get better. Jane says that when we play a game, we volunteer to be challenged. No one forces us to try to solve a game's puzzle, or defeat another team, or reach a certain score. Because we are fully in control of whether we accept a game's challenge, we don't experience anxiety or depression when we play, despite the very real possibility of loss or defeat. In a game, you're challenging yourself to learn and improve, even if the overall situation still feels overwhelming or objectively out of your control. Jane applied game principles to not just get better, but to get super better. Her goal wasn't simply to recover, but to thrive as a result of the setback. And that's what game principles and a gameful mindset can do. I haven't suffered from a concussion like Jane, but I've discovered through reading this book that I can apply the same gameful mindset to my productivity. To not just be productive, but to be super productive each and every day. Here are 3 steps to a gameful mindset that I've adopted after reading Jane's book. Number 1, commit to an epic quest of self-efficacy. Number 2, activate your power-ups throughout the day. And number 3, flush out and face the bad guys. Much like any hero in a video game, you need to fully commit to a quest that moves you, motivates you, and appeals to your goals and values. The purpose of quests are to increase your self-efficacy. Self-efficacy refers to the belief that you have in your capacity to execute and acquire the skills you need to achieve a meaningful result. In a video game, you typically build up experience points with everything you do. Defeat a few bad guys? 5 experience points. Get to a checkpoint? 10 experience points. We can learn to apply this to our day. Wake up and make your bed? 2 experience points. Make some breakfast? 4 experience points. Go into the office and finish that report you've been working on. 22 experience points. When you see everything you do as an opportunity to gain experience points, and if you're tracking these experience points, say after you do something, you just make a note on your phone and you put a little number beside it, you are more encouraged to take on tough challenges. You look for opportunities to build up self-efficacy, a belief in your ability to get things done. The more tasks you complete, the more you generate an upward spiral of momentum, which gives you the confidence to take on bigger and bigger challenges. Looking for small opportunities to gain experience points helped Jane get through the darkest moments of her concussion. She had her twin sister give her challenges every day. They would be small, like simply look out the window and find something interesting, but they were meaningful to her. And the fact that they were small was actually helpful. She says, quote, "In fact, the research shows that frequency of success matters more than the size of the success. So it doesn't matter if your quest is small or easy. In fact, it helps if it's small and easy because that increases your chance of success. With each success you achieve, you become more likely to expect success in the future." And this is why game developers make the early levels of games so easy. It's important to give players a dose of triumph early on to build their emotional resilience ahead of the challenges to come. Completing a quest requires you to stay resilient. To stay resilient, you need power-ups. This is one of the most powerful weapons in the arsenal of someone who is living gamefully. It's the ability to feel better anytime, any place, no matter what. So the idea is to, quote, collect and activate power-ups, good things that reliably make you feel happier, healthier, or stronger. Think of Mario. As he goes through the levels to save the princess, along the way, he needs upgrades. He needs mushrooms to get bigger. He needs to discover the special block that will give him an ability to fly or shoot fireballs. Power-ups are necessary for us to stay in the game. And it's important that we power up all 4 of our resilience abilities. physical, emotional, social, and mental. Jane's favorite way to boost her physical resilience is to drink a tall glass of water. She says, "There's almost nothing it doesn't help, from improving mood to building muscle to controlling appetite to increasing energy." My favorite physical power-up is to take cold showers. So in the morning or after a workout, when I go in the shower, I start off hot and cozy. But before I leave the shower, I need to crank the handle all the way to the end and give myself a blast of cold water. And it shocks my body, which makes me feel more resilient, and it gives me a jolt of energy. For emotional resilience, she likes to sing her lungs out, she says, which can trigger the release of endorphins and happy hormones. She said, "Don't hold back. You got to really belt it out to get the benefits." For my emotional resilience, I like to put on some music and just kind of dance. Even when I'm working, just kind of bob my head and tap my feet. If I put on the right song, it allows me to bounce back from any emotional setback. For social resilience, she likes to do a love spree. She sets a timer and she goes on social media and she tries to leave as many positive comments as she possibly can. For social resilience, I like to just work in a cafe. Being around people and hearing the chatter increases my sense of well-being and eradicates any feelings of loneliness. And lastly, for mental resilience, she loves to think of 2 specific things that she's looking forward to in the next week, big or small. My favorite mental resilience trick is to simply meditate, just to sit down, close my eyes, and just monitor my breath. When a thought comes up, just let it go. Activating these power-ups allow me to experience more positive emotions through the day than negative ones. And studies show that people who have a higher ratio of positive to negative emotions perform better. Employees who calculate their own positive emotion ratios between 3-to-1 and 4-to-1 are evaluated by their employers as being more creative and effective. Civilians who are exposed to missile attacks, who had a baseline positive emotion ratio of 2-to-1 or higher, were less vulnerable to anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. Lastly, we need to flush out and face the bad guys. Just like Mario, when he's going through the levels, he's facing these angry turtles, or these little creatures that are trying to get him. Some of the most important bad guys that we need to identify and face throughout the day are actually internal ones. There are inner demons, our bad habits. Jane has some pretty funny ones in her book. She has one she calls the Lord of Impossibility. It's when she plans to do anything good, this voice tells her it's impossible, or you're not good enough, or you don't have any luck, it's too difficult. Another bad guy she's identified is the 4 devil foods. So pizza, soda, marshmallows, and hot chocolate. Most of us get tempted by delicious foods like these. I have a craving for pastries, and I can eat a whole box of donuts if it's put in front of me. But that's a bad guy that I need to address, and I need to counteract. And that's the point of flushing out and facing these bad guys, is finding the strategies that you need to counteract the negative effects of these bad guys. They're trying to interrupt your progress. They're trying to set you back. We all know how bad guys work in video games. They're the obstacles that force us to be creative and clever. So don't run away from the bad guys and don't try to ignore your bad habits. Get curious about what strategies you can use to overcome these bad habits. Some mornings, I can end up staying too long in bed because the sheets are so warm. This is my seductive morning sheets bad guy. And to beat this bad guy, I need to have strategies in place, like having a warm and comfy sweater right beside my bed, so I can easily put it on, get out of bed, and get productive. Jane identifies one of her bad guys as the Two-Headed Monster. You know you're in the clutches of this bad guy when you find yourself making an "I'm too" statement, like "I'm too tired, I'm too depressed, I'm too scared, I'm too slow, I'm too fat, it hurts too much." A strategy that she's discovered over the years is to counteract with an "anyways." When the Two-Headed Monster says, "I'm too tired to cook dinner," she says, "I'm tired, but I'm going to cook dinner anyways." So a gameful mindset involves finding strategies to beat these bad guys, to find ways to power up throughout the day, and to be on a quest of self-efficacy. If you think you're ready to adopt a gameful mindset, here is my challenge to you, straight from Jane's book. Aim to get a daily dose of SuperBetter. That's 3 power-ups, 1 bad guy battle, and 1 quest to get your daily win. Jane says that this dose of SuperBetter was tested at both the University of Pennsylvania and Ohio State University, and it was enough gameful activity to help develop significant resilience while still fitting easily into a daily routine. Simply take out your to-do list and add your quest, the 3 power-ups you're going to use throughout the day, and the 1 bad guy you're likely to face. This book is just plain awesome. I highly recommend it. Now, if you'd like a 1-page PDF summary of the big ideas that I gathered from her book, just click the link below and I'll email it to you. If you already subscribe to the Productivity Game newsletter, this summary is already in your inbox. Thanks for watching and have a productive day.